An Australian perspective would also be highly informative, especially given the Australian government's tumultuous record with immigration policy. Likewise, qualitative studies may be able to complement and deepen the scope covered by this quantitative research. Furthermore, future researchers could elaborate on other intersectional factors which were mentioned in the study, such as race, ethnicity, religion, and class. Women, especially those with dependent children, have less access to support when integrating to new refuge countries, especially within formal institutions. To begin to rectify this, 5 steps should be made. First, the UK should reinstate the ESOL, English for Speakers of Other Languages fee remission for all refugees to help them afford the cost of lessons for their refuge country's native language. This will help gain language acquisition quicker, which in turn will ease their integration into society and break down social barriers. Second, education classes provided to asylum seekers should be within a communal setting, especially with single-gender options and access to childcare. This works to combat the gendered inequalities present in regard to educational opportunities. Third, female refugees could be offered a mentor to aid with the following: navigating institutional cultures, getting quicker access to housing, accessing educational classes, and finding employment. These areas are already difficult to navigate, so personal assistance would go a long way in making sure basic human rights are met. Fourth, free or affordable contraceptives and access to sexual health checkups could be provided for female asylum seekers. This not only aids in bodily autonomy, but potentially reduces further boundaries for access to education. Fifth, active measures of social policy effectiveness is needed to maintain high standards and gauge effectiveness of institutions. Governments should be proactive in checking that the strategies they implement actually continue to work. The value of this study cannot be overlooked. Gender, and particularly intersectionality, has historically been overlooked in the field of refugee policy and practice. Therefore, this research seeks to bridge that gap. Refugee integration is also highly relevant on an international scale, especially in regard to the refugee crisis in Europe. There is a real-life impact behind government social-political policies, as experienced by over 26 million asylum seekers worldwide annually. This study also shows that gendered processes have a lasting effect beyond the initial time frame of an individual gaining refugee status. This implies that researching the topic further has great importance in developing effective long-term refugee solutions, rather than superficial band-aid solutions which don't address the root of the issue. Refugees aren't free to return home at will. Therefore, how they are treated in other countries is essential to be understood and must be improved, as they are forced to undergo the migration procedures made available to them whilst they build their new lives. We have a moral obligation to make that easier and to foster empathy and inclusion.